Hi folks, you're with Tacitus to add your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about where and who are the defenders of Western culture and history, and given the very central pivotal role that Britain has played in modern history from every conceivable angle, whether it's trading and international trade, the mercantile age, the industrial age, the technical age. Britain has played a key role really from sort of the 1730s through a little bit earlier even than that, but the 1730s in particular, right through to the 1930s. So 200 years plus, Britain's played probably the most prominent role in the world. And the structure of the world we see today, certainly in a financial and technical sense, is very much due to the innovations, the great many innovations and advances in science and technology that the British were responsible for, the Industrial Revolution, of course, being key among those. Because the globalists want to change the world to suit a very tiny elite of, maybe 1 in 500 of the world population, and by the way, have been very successful so far in doing so, they have to effectively eradicate white history and white culture, and what they can't eradicate, they have to degrade and humiliate. So they're going about it with very aggressively and in quite a brutish manner. And so where are the defenders and protectors? Where are the people that are pushing back against this, apart from, folks like me with small channels on YouTube and others, even with bigger channels, and there's plenty of folks around, Mark Dice, the list goes on of people around that are fighting back in some way. But where are the prominent people with the big megaphone? Where are the politicians that are pushing back? Where are the captains of industry that are pushing back? Where are the universities and think tanks that are pushing back? They're hardly, in fact, you'd struggle to find any major party politician anywhere who's pushing back. If you take Donald Trump and just a handful of others in the United States and the entire, Ron DeSantis and the entire US political establishment, you'd be lucky to find a handful of people that are really effectively pushing back against the globalists. But there was I've noticed this in Britain before. There was a panel of people who have they get some media exposure, not much, I don't think, but some. I just was looking at the people on this panel. Now, they're British, or that they are defending, if you like, protecting or pushing back on the British culture and history issues. So you would think there'd be some very British people, people that have achieved things in their own right, built things, created things, and so on, and they would be prominent, whether it be prominent sports people or whether it be prominent actors, politicians, people who have, if you like, a brand name recognition, and they're the ones that are pushing back. But those are the ones, of course, the globalists work very hard to own and control and corrupt and so on. Idiots like Gary Lineker and that sort of thing. But who, in my opinion, is just a bought and paid for stooge for the globalists, or so I believe. Now, here's this panel. So I was looking at the panel, and this shows you just how far down the slippery slope we've gone, where there isn't a single high-achieving straight white male on this panel. Not one, not fucking one. So let me just go through the members of this panel. Now, remember, this is the panel of people, a group of people. They do interview panels, things like that, but discussion panels and discussion forums. These are the people who are probably the main pushbackers, if you will, against the globalist project to eradicate British history and culture. So now, just how English are these people? Let's just have a look. One of them was born in Eastern Europe, still has an accent. Another was born in Central Europe, barely any accent left. Had some time in academia, and gay. Two screaming queens. They are English, going back away, but screaming queens, and manifestly so. Not that this devalues the effort and the sincerity of what they're doing, by the way, it doesn't. But let me go on here. A young man, very well spoken. He's gay. Well groomed and everything. He looks like a pillar of society. A young, a young English woman, rather working class, and who's never had a job in her life. Very cynical, extremely cynical, and almost in a permanent state of melancholy, an upper class English bisexual. So there's not a single prominent brand name, person. I suppose the melancholy guy has some brand recognition, I guess, but not in having achieved anything. So we've got a group here of people who've produced nothing, created nothing, achieved nothing, and who are there's not one not one straight white male among them, and homosexuals being heavily overrepresented, people not even born in England or Britain being overrepresented, and those are the fighters. Those are the guys, the people that are coming out swinging when they're supposedly pushing back against the globalists. Now, they've certainly been, say, more effective than I've been, for example, with my small town. But I look at that and go, that's how far we've gone. Now, what we should have is a group of people, in my view, what we should have is a group of people who are, the straight white males, the families, the children. They've got an investment in the future of Britain, and they are prominent politicians, prominent people in some public way, who either are close to the levers of power or have substantial influence, social influence, and who, when they get up and say something and do something, that it has an effect. Now, those people have all been neutralised. They've all been bought off by the globalists. And I can't think of any off the top of my head that are prepared to turn to the globalists and say, you get fucked, globalists, so I'm going to do what's right for my people, my country, my fellow citizens, or much of that. So I just wanted to say that's how bad things have become, that we can't find any prominent straight white male family man who's going to get up and say that they are pushing back against the globalist thing. That's how bad things are. Now, none of these people particularly have they don't like what's happening, and maybe some of it's nostalgic. Some of them, a couple of them, genuinely don't like the lying and the treachery involved in the globalist thing. But other than that, there's nobody there who I could say has a real stake in British society and wants to work energetically for its protection and to push back against its destruction. In fact, the most prominent one among them is an aging queen who is really nostalgic of the Britain of the historical sort of Britain and the sense of Britishness that he remembers. But he's got no real stake in the future of society. So I just wanted to do this. And again, I don't decry or devalue what they're attempting to do, or the genuineness of what they're the efforts they're putting in. But I just want to sort of, that's how bad it's become. That's how far we've gone. That we're now relying on people that in the British sense at least, now they're relying on people that either weren't born in Britain or have no future in Britain, have no family, they're gay and so on. This is it. These are the only people they can rustle up as protectors. I mean, gee whiz. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.